Hello and welcome to Kerbal Kolonization. Oh, wow, that's a good start. Welcome to Kerbal Colonization Program. My name is Jim, aka Sachami Beta. I have not even started drinking yet, and it's already a huge mess. So I am, if you can probably tell from the title of this, we are going for Minimus now. I was working on Kerbin space stations, specifically I guess you'd call it a orbital space dock is what I was calling it. And I did a little bit of that to begin with, and I will continue to do that. But my vision of this was that we probably would be doing these projects at the same time. Namely, that we are going to launch to Minimus and into immediate orbit, just because those are two important steps. Specifically, Minimus is a very important step for going to the rest of the system, because it only takes a little bit more effort to get to Minimus than it does to the moon or Mun, in terms of delta V, because you have to make some inclination changes a little further out. But what it has in advantage is that it is stupidly easy to land on it. It also has a couple of very, very flat spots. They're basically flat as a pancake. The greater flats and the lesser flats. All right. Snookums. You won't jump in my lap. You insist I pick you up, and then every time I pick you up, you squeak when I do. So it's a great place to use as a refueling stop for the rest of the system, basically. Either as a refueling stop or as just a source of fuel. So I have a sort of basic base that I'm going to drop in there that will operate both as a eventually we'll have science built in, although this is a sandbox thing, so it doesn't really matter. There's no science value, but I figured it would be something you would include. So this is going to be a base that will be the seeds of the initial colony on Minimus, and also a perfect place for ships to refuel. Either ships coming down to Minimus and landing, and then taking off, because it doesn't take much delta V to get on off Minimus, or just as a place to fuel up ships that will then, or tankers that will then go up in orbit and rendezvous with ships. So first thing is the core module of the ship, or excuse me, of the base. One thing I have to do is make sure that it does not have anybody on it, which is a mistake I made before when I was testing it. Because it automatically wants to put people in here, that it's got a couple of modules on it, so it does have a place for a pilot. But we don't want to actually have a pilot on it. These are robotic missions to begin with. This will deploy. It does have its own probe core. We want it to hibernate and warp, and then it will basically fly itself to Minimus, land on Minimus, and then we'll be sending the other couple core pieces to it. So this is the main core. This will be the habitation for our Kerbals. This Shanty habitation module has room for 6. Then the couple has room for 1 more. It will be room for about 6 Kerbals. And eventually, anyway, the first crew will just be 3, and then I'll send another 3. And then I also have an ISRU module and a power module. This does generate its own power. It's capable of generating enough power to power itself, and probably quite a bit more. But there's going to be a power module and an ISRU, especially for the ISRU for the drilling and all that stuff. We're going to need plenty of power to drill and make fuel and stuff like that. So I'm going to drop all of those modules in place, and then I'm going to send my Kerbals up there to, kind of assemble everything and get everything in place. So I've got no one on here. I also made some modifications to my launch vehicle. This is the Type 7 Falcon 9 cloned launch vehicle. The main difference is this one is designed so that it can operate in the central core, can operate in space and re-enter from space. So it has a heat shield on the top that will help kind of with the transition back from orbit, and also to it helps stabilize it. Actually, it's one of the inflatable heat shields. It provides quite a bit of drag. It will get ditched as part of the landing, but at least in the beginning, it will help keep things on track. And then this is going to go all the way. The upper stage basically is going to go all the way to Minimus and back. It is the it will be put on a return trajectory and bring itself in to land as well. This is reusable. I'm going to do it with at least one of these missions. I will probably not do it with the other ones. I will just destroy them because honestly, it's not. There's no reason to do so. It's more just to demonstrate that it can be done. So this will go to Minimus. It will come back and it will land under its own power if everything goes right. So this has a ton of Delta V. It has plenty to get where it's going. This is a fuel tank underneath here that will also operate as a connection point for the rest of the unit. So, and it's got some airlocks and stuff like that. So this is ready to launch. We're going to take off here. I do have the new making history thing installed, so I can launch from the other launch platform, which the name has escaped me. But in this case, and actually I think technically that's better for launching to Minimus because of the way it will put you in an inclined orbit. If you time it right, you don't have to make major of an inclination change because you're already in an inclined orbit. But this is already designed to work for this mission profile, and I just don't want to screw around with doing all the timing and stuff like that. So I also made a change that this will be destroyed. This fairing will destroy itself instead of just separating. All right, so we are ready to go. Looks good. Everything's set for a night launch, and we will launch. And, standard launch profile, we're going to do the gravity turn, all those other things, just like we normally do. This is a little top-heavy now because of the added length that I put on here, but it'll do it. And this is the Type 7 heavy launch vehicle. So it does have the two boosters. I'm primarily going to watch this fuel tank right here on one of the boosters. Doesn't really matter which one. And when it gets a little bit more than halfway, when it's a little bit more than halfway full, or probably about a third depleted, I will stage, and that will be, representing those going back and landing, even though in this case they won't be. They are capable of it. They have their own probe cores and batteries and RCS and all that stuff. Speaking of RCS, this thing's tracking a little bit off. So we're going to kick the RCS on to give it a little bit more stability. And there we go. We're in a good... keep on it. We're in the middle of the gravity turn. It looks good. I'm going to roll just a little bit to make sure that the boosters deploy the way I want them to. I do have to throttle down. All right, so we're almost ready to stage. I have to throttle down so it doesn't destroy the boosters. I've been trying to find a way to make that work otherwise, but there they go. And then we throttle back up, and just as soon as they're clear. Don't lose much speed going that way, but they're going to turn out and then, well, crash, to be honest with you, but in theory they would land back at the Space Center, just like the Falcon Heavy boosters did during that Falcon Heavy test. So this is very much, obviously very inspired by it. It uses the grid fins and all that stuff. I just got this locked on prograde right now, because that works for this ascent profile. This has got plenty of Delta V to get into orbit and put itself in orbit, and then basically it has a ton of extra Delta V to get back, but I wanted to make sure it had enough to do everything. We're going to aim for about an 85-kilometer orbit. That just is a plenty of hang time for me to build or to construct a maneuver node at the apoapsis and circularize the orbit. So this is going to get up there. Let's see. That's good enough. It's not. It doesn't have to be specific because we're not rendezvousing with anything. We're just going to Minimus. So let's see. Set a maneuver at the apoapsis, and then set a circularization maneuver. Yep. There we go. That's good enough. Okay. And that's a 44-second burn, 929 meters per second. So that'll leave us with just a little bit less than 1,000 meters per second in the main core. That is tons of delta V, because once it gets rid of most of this upper stage weight, it will have plenty of delta V to land. All right. So one thing I do want to do is go ahead and stage this. So I'll move that down. There we go, because we want that to fall back to Kerbin, which it will, in theory, if given its time. So, as soon as it's circularized, I will detach the original core stage, and then it will just be the upper stage going the rest of the way, and I will come back and land that core stage once we're sure everything else goes good. So, I'm just watching my countdown. I can speed this up. I have better burn time indicator installed as one of the mods. It really makes a huge difference. And we're good. Okay. It makes it so much easier to plan maneuver nodes. You never get a not applicable or not available problem like you do with some of the standard ones. So, or the basic. The basic maneuver nodes and burn time indicator. This works so much better. So, and I hopefully, so a lot of stuff has been implemented by the developers, from mods, and I hope that's one of the things that gets done. A lot of the stuff that they added for the Making History pack, the DLC, aside from the Mission Maker, is stuff that was already available in mods. Which I guess makes those mods obsolete, although it is a paid DLC, so it's not completely. All right, now we are ready to stage. That will destroy this fairing and decouple and fire these retro rockets. Oop, we're still... Didn't realize for some reason I was still thrusting. That's fine. No big deal. So that moves that away, and we got this nice little... thing going here, and so they see it's got a heat shield, inflatable heat shield on that side. Now, since we're fully in space, I can extend the solar panel just to be sure that this has plenty of power. I don't need to even extend those comm arrays. Those are actually just there for looks. They don't provide any real functionality, because this relay antenna is far more than it needs to get back from Minimus. But this will also, again, be the central hub for the communications. It does have it, so it's got its own power generation, it's got habitation, and it's got communications abilities all built into it. So that's the idea for having a core. Let's see here now. We need to set a maneuver for Minimus. So, just based on previous experience, that's about right. No. Go back a little this way. Set this as a target, and we're just looking to get in the vicinity of it right now, and then we'll... Oh, there we go. Got an encounter right away. Okay, so let's see. I need to zoom in on here. Now, technically, what we could do, and it would probably be the most sense, since these are just landing and they're not taking back off again, and so it doesn't really matter too much how I land them. I've got plenty of delta V to do it. Is we want to actually get in a retrograde orbit of Minimus, because that will give the upper stage a free return trajectory. It should take it right back to Kerbin. That way, when it separates, it's got enough. It's got enough, juice to get back. So I'm not going to. I just want to be like in the vicinity of Minimus, and then make my fine adjustments in deep space, because it will be much less delta V required to actually move if I'm smart about this. It's easier to change your inclination and some of that other stuff in deep space when we're not in the immediate sphere of influence of Kerbin. So we're going to go ahead and warp to the next encounter, and that's what did it say? 41 seconds burn time. Okay, so that's easy. Warp to next maneuver. Oh, hey, Danky Kang. Derek. I'm just now starting to drink. Yeah, so we're getting into a retrograde orbit of Minimus. It's not great if you're trying to land or take off, or you want something to be easy to maneuver with in orbit, but for this it should work fine. I didn't test this plan, but there's so much delta V on this craft that it doesn't matter. It's got plenty of room for mistakes. So I'm going to save the game here while I'm up, and just waiting for my burn indicator. Should be any second now. 21 and go. And yeah, once we're a little bit out of the sphere of influence of Kerbin, I will make the fine adjustments to actually get us on track. And technically I could do that with all just the RCS thrusters, but there's plenty of delta V on this too, so I could just not do that. Is that some debris? It's not quite as bad as real life, that we're not worrying about Kessler syndrome of stuff, basically debris floating around in space, but it's not an entirely without a concern. But there shouldn't be too much at this orbit that I'm at. So my orbital shipyard is at 80 kilometers, and I'm at 85 to 90 kilometer slightly eccentric orbit. So it shouldn't be an issue. All right, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and warp to about here, but I'm going to set my maneuver. And then, if I do this right, there we go. My inclination change, it would take way more than 28 meters per second to make that sort of inclination change close to Kerbin. So this is sort of ideal for what we want. And then, nope. It's going to have to make a couple of adjustments here, but if I do this just right. Yeah, and if you see the periapsis, proposed periapsis on that will be like inside Kerbin. So we'll have to make some adjustments probably, but point being, we're going to get there. Come on, set your damn... There we go. Stay with me. Stop it. So I want about a 30 to 40 kilometer periapsis here. That's good. But if you see my... Yeah, this will come back around to Kerbin, and then I can make some adjustments. This is how they did the moon landings. Actually, they would set the upper stage, not the service module, but the basically the burn stage that took it to did the lunar burn for the moon. Put the Apollo capsules on a free return trajectory. So if there was any problem with the engine, that would, complete the orbital insertion. Instead of if that engine failed, it would just come right back to Earth. So it's a fairly well-known or fairly well-established strategy. It was good enough for Apollo. It's good enough for me. And we're going to go ahead and warp to the next maneuver. It's literally 1 second of burn. This sort of inclination change, like I said, to do this inclination at Kerbin would have been something in the order of, a couple hundred meters per second at least. So we're saving quite a bit of fuel, which is not critically important, but, is certainly helpful. So this should be good. I'm going to... The other thing is, in real life, engines can't fire up. The rocket engines can't fire this many times as you can in Kerbal Space Program. Not the J2. I've now forgotten what the upper stage engine the J2 final J2 was designed to fire multiple times for the Apollo missions, but it's actually fairly rare to have something you do that. The Falcon can also do that. That's just one of their things. All right, so we're right on target. It's a little lower than I wanted, but that's fine, and it's not quite the alignment I want, but yep, it's good enough. Because we're not trying to dock with anything. We're not doing a precise maneuver. So I want to see how much delta V it will take to circularize. Get that apoapsis. Okay, so that's a circular orbit. That will let us make our planned burn 173 meters per second. The next stage has 1,600 meters per second. So that's plenty to do the thing. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and... Gotta get out here. And I'm just going to warp to this. And... I'm not going to shed the... this stage until we're there. And we're ready to do the maneuver. It should burn its... there we go. All right. And push away, and then we will stage this, which should activate the engine. Now, I got to do this, which is extend the stabilizers, because this thing seems to want to get caught. Why are you not letting me control? Crap. Got a limited probe. Ooh, that's a problem I was not expecting. Okay, well, that's good. We can still circularize the orbit. That's the important thing. I'm about to miss my maneuver, but I think we'll be okay. I did not account for the problem is Minimus is currently in between us and Kerbin. So it has some issues, but we're doing good. We're going to be okay. We're not too far off of the initial plans, so we're still well within. Just watching this apoapsis get down to 24 kilometers or thereabouts. We're gonna okay, well, that wasn't perfect by any stretch, but I can't delete the maneuver node because I am not in communication. Now I am. Okay. So, important lesson, which was to not count on your communications. So, we're aiming for. I'm trying to find it here. This is the Greater Flats. Right here, we're aiming for this area. It's a little weird because I'm normally used to coming at it in another direction, but we'll figure it out. So this is the Greater Flats. We want to land about here. So, and our probe is already on its way back, on its return trajectory to Kerbin. All right, so we want to target. Yeah, we're going for like this area right here. So let's get this, make some adjustments here, and that's pretty good. And we're gonna have to adjust this again once we get around. But you know, we're aiming for the rough area. And I'm out of communications. Okay, well, that's a problem. Because I will not have fine control over this. Alright. Can't delete that maneuver node. We're just going to skip the maneuver and then let it turn into the... oh, why am I... Okay, we'll let it turn into facing Kerbin. We just have to wait for the right window. It's not ideal, but it's still fine. It'll do the trick. Let me see here. And yeah, so we're just waiting for this turnaround. We got at least probably one more orbit, and then we should be golden. We're safe where we are. You know, it's in a safe and high enough orbit that I'm not concerned about it crashing into anything or hitting any high points on Minimus. So I want to see exactly when it cuts off. Yeah, we're gonna have to give it one more orbit. And then we're gonna set a maneuver node. Yeah, somewhere around about here. Change the warp value. And yeah, so we're still aiming for that, roughly that, the center of the flats, because this is a perfect place to land to start a base. It's flat as a pancake, and an easy, so it's easy to make things stable. There are other places, some of these peaks are also flattened, but they're still much harder to land on than the flats. It's also big enough to land space planes or things like that, although there's no air, so you can't actually use the wings on a space plane. All right, so let's get this adjusted and ready to go. We're going to warp to about, yeah, and then readjust this accordingly. Now, honestly, I'm fine with having the base close to one of these hills and kind of out of the main area of the flats, but we also want to aim a little ahead or behind where we want it to be, because of the way things are rotating. So we're going to end up smacking into it in a way that's probably not great, but this should probably do the trick. And we can make some final adjustments before we do it. Yeah, so I want to be right about there. We're locked on. Plenty of delta V still. We're looking good. Batteries are, this has batteries in 4,000 units of charge, so that's plenty. I'm going to retract the solar panels just in case we have some issues. Don't really need to worry about those. They're already tucked in. And then we're going to wait till about 8 seconds and then initiate our burn. Because that's in theory the most efficient way to do this. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I think, yeah, we're looking good so far. A little annoyance, but nothing too serious at this point. And then, now technically, what I could do, because Minimus is just so damn easy to land on, I could just burn off all horizontal velocity, and that makes it easier to see, but I'm not going to bother that. So let's see. In flight, I want to set my trajectory. Descent, retrograde. Okay, that looks good. And we're right on target with where we want to be. And what we're looking for is the suicide burn distance, which is 14 kilometers, 15 kilometers almost. And we also want to have this set as retrograde to the surface. And delta V, 128 meters per second of delta V for suicide burn. No problem. We got lots of that. Yeah, okay, actually, no, that's pretty much where we want to be. Because we're gonna burn hard here. Yeah, I like that. That's okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make a minor adjustment. Bring our target a little bit closer and all right, there we go. That's good. I like that. So it's estimating 23-second burn. I don't trust this estimate here because that's also saying the node. It will do an impact burn. I don't trust it. I look at this a little bit better. So, yeah. 3 to... 1.5 kilometers, 1.2, making a couple of, so this is technically the most efficient way to land. I'm burning a little early because it often makes mistakes on the suicide burn exactly how far away you need to be, because you can see it's changing, which it shouldn't be, or the altitude is changing, but yeah, it's changing in a way that it probably shouldn't. But see, we're coming in too hot. I think we'll be okay, but it's close. Oh, it's too fast, too fast, too fast, too fast, too fast, too fast. All right. Well, that's no good. And that's why you can't trust the delta V calculations. Hopefully I can rotate this up. I don't know. If I do this right, I might be able to get this. So I gotta get rid of this trajectories window. I should have saved before I landed. All right. There we go. All right. Now, quick retrograde burn. Radial out. Stay radial out, please. Retrograde. And then radial out. Deploy. Stay up. Please stay standing. Okay. We're on the ground. This is one of the other... So, I wouldn't have been able to do that on pretty much any other planet or celestial body, maybe Gilly, because this is just the gravity is so low here. But that is also the downside of... but you also saw the downside of Minimus, which is that it tends to want to bounce. But this is fine. Like, this is a perfectly fine place to have my base. I wanted to be a little closer to those mountains, but you know what? I'll take it. This thing is on the ground. This also has a ground tether. So now it shouldn't move at all. I'm going to deactivate this engine. Cut that off. And now this is planted. It is ready. Dead Crows 1980. Yeah, well, honestly, this would have been the end of a lot of my missions too, but I lucked out, to be perfectly honest with you. I was pretty sure I could get it to go. The gravity's low enough, but yeah, if it would have been even on the Mun, it would have been over. We would never have been able to do this. Okay, so yeah, save my game. All right, now let's see if I can locate my probe. Yeah, so I'm going to see where the periapsis is. Technically, I don't want to be completely on a free return trajectory on this. I do, but I want it to, or I did, just in case, but I want this to, also the probe strengthen is not great on this one, because it's just got the base probe core, which I didn't think about when I was using it. I'm going to modify my next one to have some sort of antenna just to help out a little bit. So I am headed this way. But I can still set a maneuver node, which is good. I want to set my there we go. I'm going to get my periapsis to something not suicidal. All right, so periapsis, perfect. 76,000 kilometers, and then I will also adjust my inclination if I can figure out how far off I am. I'm actually not off as far as I thought. It kind of, yeah, it redid its own inclination coming back. So realistically, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it as is. Go ahead and warp to the maneuver. I might make a minor inclination change here when once I do this burn, but how much delta V do I have? Yeah, so I have 2,000 meters per second of delta V. I could get to Duna with this, so I mean that's plenty. If anything, this is over-engineered, and it's partly the reason it's over-engineered is because I'm not that great. I'm not that good at this, as you saw. I've completely beefed that landing. Oop. Boom. Somehow got set to the wrong... Also, is my RCS not working again? Or is it just not showing it's not working? There's something... One of my mods that I've got installed causes some serious RCS problems. Just RCS stops working at a certain point on my craft. So that's a problem. But I've got plenty of regular fuel. And... Yeah, see, the RCS is not doing anything. It's not showing it. I think, I don't know if it's technically working or not. I've had various, let's see if it makes changes in my, it's burning RCS, but it's not actually changing my speed. So I might have to reload the game. But for now, I am okay. I can just go ahead and turn RCS off since it's completely wasting. Then I'm going to set a maneuver node here. Oops, going the wrong direction. To reduce my apoapsis down again into the 70-ish kilometer. Set focus on Kerbin. The 73 kilometer range. Or 80 kilometer, whatever. And we'll bring this in. That will bring us into orbit. So it's 923 meters per second. That's still plenty left to do the job. And then that will then let me land this thing. I've already done the upper stage landing on both of these before. So I don't know actually I'm going to do it, but I just want to prove that I had enough delta V to bring it back to where it needs to be. So that's 2 days of warping. And also because I can't use my RCS, it's just kind of problematic. But it will we'll bring it in. Got plenty of fuel. And yeah, 2137, I need 923 meters per second. That still leaves me well over 1,000 meters per second to deorbit and land, which is like a ton. And the idea behind this is just, again, to make everything as close to being realistic and reusable as possible. So all these parts are technically reusable. I'm not doing the reusable parts of it necessarily for my own sanity. If I was doing this for career mode where I was actually like paying for the stuff and I had to account for budget, I would, because honestly, that launch cost over $1 million in Kerbal bucks. And it would have been that's a very expensive craft to launch in career mode. But, you know, if you can bring it in and return most of the stuff and you know, just don't get back your fuel money. You don't know what the fuck this game is. Well, this game is it's Kerbal. Yeah, it's Kerbal Space Program. The idea is you build rockets and complete missions. Technically, in a regular game, I'm using a ton of mods and I'm doing my own missions, basically, that I set for myself. They have no there's no real actual aim of this, but yeah, you fly these missions. You build. No, I don't want to be warping. You build rockets or whatever that you need to complete the. Why won't it let me switch to the what? Wait, what the? How is this? What? How's my space? What? Something got messed up with the orbit. My space dock is now. Okay. Yeah, there's some sarcasm built in. It is a fun space simulator. Somehow, having had no impulse from me, my space dock, which is at a nice stable 80-something kilometer orbit, is now on a trajectory outside of the. What the shit is going on here? What? How did this even happen? That's weird. It's going out past the Mun. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna cheat because this is ridiculous. Kerbin 80,000 meters. There we go. Nice stable orbit. What the shit happened? I've never had that happen before. I'm guessing it's one of my mods is causing some sort of problem. And then I think this should be the Rogue AI. Yeah, it doesn't have enough Delta V to move that far. Well, it actually has a lot of Delta V. I technically guess it does have a it has a Dragon capsule with some Super Draco engines on it that could theoretically push it into a higher orbit, but that's a hell of a thing. All right, so I'm gonna turn on the heat shield or inflate the heat shield on this. So this is my in order to make sure we're controlling from here. This is the first stage, which is the one I have not actually landed before using this. What's my app last? It's not great, but we can do this. I'm gonna do this in the dark, maybe. No, I'm just gonna let Kerbin do at least one orbit, so Kerbin can turn into the sun. Excuse me, the Space Center can turn into the sun. But yeah, this is to answer your question. If it refuses to open the pod bay doors, you'll know what's up. Yeah, exactly. I wonder if Hal has possibly taken over the space dock. I also have, technically there are KOS parts that let you use programming, and one of them does look like Hal's eye. So I don't know why you'd want to put that on a space station. Oh, that's interesting. That seems like something that would kill you, but whatever. But yeah, it's a space simulator. It is a I don't know how else to describe it other than that. It is a very fun, kind of goofy space sim. So let's see, will trajectories come up? Maybe. Oh boy. Trajectories mod has decided not to help out to work today, maybe? Well, that's a problem. So the trajectories mod is sort of key to actually landing where I want. So I'm just gonna eyeball it, I guess. This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna completely miss where I'm trying to try and land because the trajectories mod is just not gonna help me today. Why are you not working? Default to retrograde descent profile. Use cache. Auto update. Update. No, it won't. Why won't you show me my trajectory? Well, that's a problem. Yeah, it's not showing my trajectory at all. Well, it's supposed to, but it's not. Okay, so RCS is working on this. I don't know why RCS. It seems like monopropellant RCS is the problem. I don't know, because these are not monopropellant. These are technically using liquid fuel RCS. So we'll complete our burn, and then we'll turn prograde, and we're going to go in prograde, because that's my heat shield is in the front of the vessel. So we're going to go prograde, and then that's good. I have no idea where I'm actually going, so this is all just kind of just to prove that it can get into the atmosphere from orbit without burning up, I guess. This is gonna be a real mess. I don't know why trajectories have suddenly stopped, but it has. Also, all right. So keep RCS on and accelerate time warp to where we want to be going. So we want to be pointing retrograde. I'm going to way overshoot the Space Center because I have no idea what my trajectory is for this, because I'm already over the Space Center, so there's no way in hell I'm going to make it, even with, you know. So I'm going to land in the ocean. And we're going to flip. Cause a nice little spin. I had a feeling that was going to happen. I can't seem to get this thing to want to stay aligned the way I want. Do a quick burn. Just to bleed off some excess speed so we don't overheat. Do a little spins here. How much delta V do I have? Plenty of delta V. Gonna jettison the heat shield. Goodbye. Got the grid fins going. So this is going to be an ocean landing, which is not what we want. Although technically it'd be fine if we had our drone ship. I could aim for it, but because the trajectory mod was not working for me in the map view, I can't actually pick where I'm landing. Unfortunately, they just made multiple updates to the program recently, and it's hard to account for that. Just some of the mods have gotten broken. I'm gonna get down below the sound barrier. There we go. Makes control a little easier. We got plenty of delta V still. And then suicide burn, which is how they do it on the Falcon rockets. They call it a hover slam, but that is a suicide burn. They just don't call it a suicide burn. Oh no. Why is this thing shaking so violently? That's fun. Yeah, and it broke up. Why, I don't know, but it did. But we were able to get it down. If the trajectory mod had been working, it probably would have been able to actually land this thing on land, but it didn't work. So we're gonna launch the next base. I'm not gonna bother with a free return trajectory. I'm not gonna bother with any of that other stuff. This is a straight up as easy a launch as I can. Oh no! Come on! Don't do. The FMRS just fucked me. That is one of the mods. I think it just fucked me over. So yep, took me right back here. Yeah. So we're gonna reload that quick save. Hopefully that got me where I want it to be. I'm just gonna let that thing complete its free return trajectory. You saw that it could be done. It's gonna crash into Kerbin. It'll be fine. Great. FMRS is disabled. That's the something from reusable stages, something like that. Flight manager for your reusable stages. Turn off trajectories mod. And okay, so we're gonna go back to the Space Center. This is where I want to be. Although actually, I think I'm gonna go to the tracking station and destroy those two pieces, and also maybe fix the refix the orbit of my what do you call it? Space dock again? I don't know why that went all the way out there. What do you? I didn't even pick you up and you're squeaking. You just like to squeak now. You can jump up into my lap. Okay, so that's the Minimus base core probe. Just gonna terminate that. And the other probe also going to terminate that since it doesn't want to actually work. All right, come here. Makes such a noise. You're fine. See, you're fine. I just want everyone to see that you're fine. I'm not doing some horrible things to you that make you squeak like that. Okay. Oof, cat hair everywhere. None of my whiskey, no. All right. So the other, so space dock is at the altitude it's supposed to be. My base core is landed at Minimus. That's good. So we can go back. We can launch our next core piece, which will be the power distribution module, and then yeah, stop kicking the cat. Right? I know she's fine. She's a little monster. I will go ahead and land that, and I will land the ISRU, and then I will send a crew up there to actually do it. Although I think what I'm going to do is send the crew first, just because it's more interesting to show. I'm going to send one more module, namely the power module, and then I'm going to send the crew, so you can see them connecting all the pieces up. Using Kerbal Attachment System, which is a fun little ability. So let's see here. Yeah, that looks good. Everything's the same, or it's very similar. If you look, it's very similar bottom. This one's got connections all the way around. There's Kerbal Attachment System connection ports, and this is also the Kerbitrail Flexotube connectors that will be used to connect to the main base. And for the actual Kerbins to travel through, or Kerbals to travel through, and it's got a little antenna, photovoltaic array, and all that good stuff. Okay, so exact same vehicle as before, more or less. Again, except for the payload, the actual launch vehicle. Am I using a resource mod? Technically, yes. I am not using life support, though. Mostly at the beginning because I have not had a chance to play around with the life support mods to figure out exactly how it works. So I don't want to kill my crews. But I think I'm going to apply the life support mod in future. I've been trying it around. And eventually they will have life support going for them. I do have landers for carrying supplies and mulch and all that stuff to let them actually... carry their own food or make their own food while they're on there, and other stuff like that. But for now, the idea is, and I will show a unmanned supply vehicle. The idea is that they will just be getting supplies from Kerbin in the meantime. Even though technically they're not consuming them, there is a vehicle for that in place so they can do it. Always important to get a little liquored up before you start flying. It really it smooths things out, lets you fly casual, you should never drink and fly, except if it's fake in computer, then you can drink and fly if you like, but definitely don't do that in real life. The more you know. Disable FMRS. Get that the fuck out of here. I don't want you to mess me up again. Save game. Launch. Oh, now you want to work trajectory mod? Okay. But you eat a dick. Oh. So this is a lighter module than the other one. I think technically it's lighter. So you notice its ascent is a little bit faster. It's going to be another one where we have far more delta V than we really need to do the thing. But that's okay. Again, it's over-engineered. And also, I will make some of these craft files available. You'll have to have mods for them. But you know, hopefully I'll be able to tell you which mods you want. At least I'm going to do the Kerbal reusability and the parts scaling mods. They're super important because that really is, Kerbal reusability is what lets me have these grid fins and landing legs and all that stuff. So those are the really important things. Let's see. All right, I'm going to keep that. We're going to lock that here. Just try and keep you more or less at 45 degrees. Don't tip on me. Thank you. And same deal. As soon as that thing is about to here, I'm going to try and stage this without detaching, without turning off. Oh, see, that's why you have to... I forgot. That's why I had to throttle down. I couldn't remember why I had to throttle down. It's because those things will keep flying. Do I have mech jeb? I do not have mech jeb because mech jeb has not been updated for 1.4. That has been a problem. Mech jeb and some of the other ones have not been updated for the new version, and I tried installing it, and it still insists that it is not compatible. There's something that just blocks it from turning on, so I can't use mech jeb. I am using Kerbal Engineer and a couple other things, but not mech jeb. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get the rendezvous from the launch pad. Yeah, mech jeb gets broken with every update. Exactly. It doesn't work very well. But it's an awesome program, or it's an awesome mod, but yeah, it just it will not use. There's also, like, I do have mods that help with that, and I probably could figure it out. I just don't feel like doing it. These are all designed that they will work that way. Also, I'm just going to go and ditch the stage now because I don't feel like dealing with it. I've got plenty of Delta V in the other one, especially because I'm going to do a free return. I'm going to do a free return with this other thing, just so I don't have to worry about it again. Yeah, I don't know if you can rendezvous. See, there's my there's my boosters. I completely forgot. I'm like, there's a reason that I'm not staging those. If they were completely bingo fuel, it would be fine to stage them at full throttle, but I have to throttle down so they don't fly away. That was my reasoning, and I couldn't remember why I had done this flight profile like that, and that's why. A perfectly good reason to not do that. Yeah, Apollo 13. Yeah, so yeah, free return trajectory. That's why they did the free return for the lunar missions, was so they could I missed my maneuver node here, but I'm fine. In case there was a problem, they could come back around the moon and use the moon's gravity to slingshot them back into back to Earth. This is all right. So I'm still. I kind of fucked up my my orbital insertion burn, or circularization burn and insertion burn, but I'm okay. I like to be precise, but I'm not. All right, I'm in orbit. Jettison this shit. Stop it. Yeah, see, my RCS is not working on this either, but I have plenty of plenty of nodes. The boosters, you just nuked North Korea. Is it possible to rendezvous from pad 295K? I have no idea. I just got the expansion. I have not been, not really done anything with. Yeah, I have not done anything with it. I've been mainly just working on planning this and getting my mods to work. The ones that were absolutely 100% critical for me to have, I had to get work. So let's see. Set as target. Add maneuver. That's wrong, but we'll start here. And then adjust as necessary. Oh, yep. Okay, so we're on an encounter. Got an encounter somewhere along here. Oh, I hate you. I hate maneuver. Nope. Ooh, excuse me. I hate the maneuver node system. All right. It's always fun trying to get a maneuver, get a encounter with Minimus. There's way raster. I do not have raster prop installed, if that's what you're asking. Or are we talking about something else? Trying to get I'm trying to get a maneuver here. Or an encounter with Minimus. It's always fun. Because it is slightly off. Its orbital inclination is weird. There we go. Yeah, so that's not ideal, but it is actually... Yeah, raster prop does not work with... raster prop is disabled on my current thing because it does not work in... does not work with 1.4. Alright, how far am I away? Well, that's not ideal, but we'll do a mid-course correction. I just want to get there, so let's do this thing. We're going to Leroy Jenkins this motherfucker into into submission. I got to make sure I control from here. Okay, cool. And... yeah, I've been fighting with mods for the last the new DLC too. Yeah, I've been fighting with mods, getting everything to work. There's a lot of stuff that got broken, and I barely got this working. I was gonna stream last week, but one. There we go. 1.4 came out. I decided if I change how I land the boosters, can't steer to pad. Yeah, I've really had some issues landing and stuff like that since this update. They've changed some things. Hopefully things will get improved, but I was gonna stream last weekend and last Wednesday, and it completely broke my the game basically. The stock game works fine, but can I get my boosters to boost back to pad? No, I don't. I've always done remote landings basically. I'm not very good at programming things like KIS or not KOS or any of those other things. Getting things where it's where I want it to go. They're all capable. Like I've done landings from orbit with the main core stage, and I've been able to land it within, and also the upper stage, the second stage. I've been able to land those within, a few miles of the Space Center. It still takes a little while to play with the trajectories because the trajectories mod isn't perfectly accurate, especially with the it doesn't accurately account for the way the aerodynamics of the grid fans. But KOS isn't even working. Yeah, I have just given up on a lot of those mods right now until the the game is until they've stabilized, because there's been 1.4, then they released Making History, and there's been another 2 updates for 1.4, like 1.4.1 and 0.1.0 something. Point being is every time they release that shit, it breaks CCAN and causes all kinds of issues. So I just don't even bother at this point. I got what I absolutely needed to do this stream working, and then I quit. And I'll probably fight with it more. Okay. Why won't you let me set as target? Oh, you bastard. Won't let me focus. Oh, that's why. Set as target. Because I was clicking on the wrong thing. Okay. Adjusting my trajectory here. Periapsis is at 97 kilometers. That's too high. $13 is too low. $20, $30 is good. 30 is where I want. And then adjust down. Come here. Get just right where I... Nope. Go where I want you. All right. Cool. Yeah, I sent guidance and launch to rendezvous on MechJeb. Yeah, those will help. But again, I could not get it done. Basically, I'm not even doing. There's been plenty of people who've done, Falcon 9 style landings, and ascents with their thing. That's not really the point of my, the point of the series. It's not to demonstrate that. That's been done a million times. You can find it on YouTube. It's easy to find people who've done that thing. It's more to demonstrate. I'm more just doing, a sort of a realistic progression of colonization of the planets of the Kerbal system, and that's a whole other can of worms. But it will, I think it will sort of help me. Having these other things would be great if I could actually make MechJeb or KOS do the thing that I want it to do. That would be awesome, but right now I can't do that, and that's not really the point. So if I can make it work eventually, I will just do that, and I will show it on a stream. But right now I'm just trying to make it, I'm using realistic launch vehicles, even though I'm actually not doing all of the work, because that's not really interesting. Like, it's kind of boring just to watch me do this, to be honest with you, or I'm not thrilled doing this part, launching all these pieces. It's necessary. I'm going to do it, but I don't feel like landing all of those boosters, because that's tedious, especially without the mods working. So I wish MechJeb worked, because MechJeb is awesome. So and some of these other ones are awesome when they work. All right. What the deuce? Did I just completely overshoot that? Oh, of course I did. That's all right. Actually, I got tons of Delta V. Fortunately, I cannot use my RCS thrusters because they don't work now. Because there's a damn bug. Yeah, see, the monoprop based RCS just doesn't want to work. All right, so, but we're at more or less where we want to go. Prograde. Go prograde. No, actually, I think I want to go retrograde. Now I think about it. We'll see. Nope. Okay. That's fine. That's kind of where we want to be. I don't want to be... I don't want to be too far up. Oh, man, I gotta adjust my argument of... Or my... Yeah, inclination again. It would be so much better if these RCS thrusters worked, but they don't. It says they do, but they don't. Alright, let's see. I want to adjust my inclination. So, minor inclination burn. And what I'm going to do is another thing that you really can't do in real life, which is adjust the thrust level of the main engine. Even it's 0.5 meters per second. It's such a insanely... Yeah, I burned up most of my Delta V actually doing this, so that's fine. That's actually what I want. But let's see, set my thrust limiter down to 0.5, and I'm still off. Like I still have to fight. Sit and fight it, but that's fine. I can keep it. I can keep it, close. Which is the thing you can't. The thing you cannot do, in real life, to throttle an engine of this nature down so far. All right. What? Oh, okay. Had a moment of... Okay, I was looking at the wrong orbit. Oh, apparently this is going to escape Kerbin? I don't know what is going on. This doesn't make a lick of sense. But whatever. We're just gonna pretend like it does. I'm having all kinds of crazy issues now. Maybe I'm not close enough to Minimus to change the things. Who knows? I'm looking for airborne junk 13. I don't know what you're saying. I'm not sure what exactly you're talking about. SAS won't work. Are you playing on your own too, and you're just talking about what you're playing, or you're talking about what? You're not talking about what you're seeing, because that doesn't make any sense. So it must be what you're playing. Come on, stage. I should have kept that. Holy shit, I think I'm going to overshoot Minimus. Oh, you're playing. Okay. All right. I was making sure, because I'm like that. You're not talking about what I'm doing, so. Nope. Stop it. Okay. Well, actually, if I do this right, let's ignore that. I think I can get... I got plenty of Delta V. If I do this right, I can actually just land close to where I want to be. I kind of messed up, but I've got so much Delta V, it doesn't matter. let's see. I need to adjust my anti-normal. Ignore this, please. No. It's the exact opposite of what I wanted. Yeah, I have issues with doing the boost back as well. Oh, right, I can't throttle because I'm... Oh, this is going to be interesting. Oh, man. We're probably going to crash. This will be interesting. I can't delete the maneuver node. I hope we get inside of Kerbin soon. This is going to be interesting. So, all right, I should be dropping more or less directly on top of my base, the existing base. I'm going to have some rotation, but not much. So I'm just going to deploy these and hope for the best, because that's my... All right, adjust to surface, and then pray. We just pray. Yeah, the directory mod is completely useless once again. I'm ignoring the suicide burn distance. And yeah, just hoping for the best. Wait a minute. Is it just a distance? Oh, hey, awesome. This is much better. Okay. I'm like, why can't I contact? Okay, that makes much more sense. The reason I couldn't contact the Space Center is because I didn't deploy my damn antenna. Oops. This is one of the new mod antennas. So I got real and surface. There we go. That looks good. And now we're going to come in for landing. Save up here when I still have some time to abort. Okay, now I really don't have connection to the Space Center. Problem is the planet is rotating underneath me, so I can't fine tune, and I can't fine tune my can't fine tune my landing point. So I'm just going to adjust, try and burn off as much horizontal velocity as I can. So I got the extra delta V. The red marker here, which is very hard to see, is actually where it expects I will actually land, given the rotation of the planet, or in this case, the moon, because it is a moon of Kerbin, technically. Kerbin's captured captured satellite. Why is it? Oh, right. It's showing a target. That's not okay. Just want to adjust. That's close. Once I get into, I got enough delta V, I can make a little hop. Once I actually get into I can't use shift for small amounts of thrust at a time because I am out of range of my thing. I should have put a communications relay into orbit first. That would have been smart, but I didn't do that because I am not smart. So I'm just doing full throttle, basically. All I have is full throttle at this point. Full throttle and no throttle. So once I get in contact, I will make a little baby hop over to get within less than 1 kilometer of my landing point for the other base. But it'll be okay. I got tons of delta V. I can just kind of bring myself in for a landing. I'm just going to keep it nice and slow. My altitude. So I'm just pulsing my engines now. Whee! Okay, get down. Get down. All right, ground tethered. Now I'm just going to, first thing I'm going to do is save. And then, are you jiggling? Turn off. Okay. I got plenty of battery power. Okay, good. So I'm not going to deploy my solar panels yet. I just got to get into comms range with. There we go. Awesome. All right, so unleash the ground tether. Turn on SAS. I want to go. Nope, going the wrong direction. I've not nearly enough reaction control for what I'm trying to do. But I got plenty of delta V. That should be more or less where I want to be. Oh, why are you flipping like that? Oh, I wish you wouldn't do that. Come on, you jerk. Go where I want you to go. All right, delta suicide burn distance. I really don't want to change too much about my trajectory because I want to be more or less right where I'm landing. So I'm watching my suicide burn very closely. Okay, it is pretty accurate, looks like. I'm going to get down to like 50 meters, maybe, distance. There. No, I didn't want to go target radial out, damn it. Oh, no. Don't do this to me again. You rat bastard. Ooh, that's safe. All right. I was so close, too, to giving me exactly what I wanted. I run these missions, like, as a test, but I don't do a lot of, like, you know, it's not very precise. Okay. SAS on. Ground tether released. I'm in range. Go to the top of my arc. I think that's good. I think we're looking good. Stay upright. Stay upright, please. Ground tether attached. Okay. All right, let this flatten out. Okay, cool. Okay. Saving. We're on the ground. Extend solar panel. There we go. Keep charting that baby up. All right. Now I'm going to aim camera. And then easy vehicle switch. All right, cool. Now, here's the fun part. We get to go back and launch the crew out here. So that's gonna be fun. Because then we actually get to walk little Kerbins around, or Kerbals around, and have them do their little thing. So we do go to the vehicle assembly, and let's see. I have a crew vehicle all ready to go. This one is done in a not reusable fashion. These are not meant to be going back to the Kerbal Space Center or to land. Just for basically for reasons of crew or for ease, basically. So this is the same core stage and upper stage, just in the non-reusable mode. And then I'm doing this Apollo style. So I've got a service module, which I actually need to... Okay, that's already loaded up. Good. All kinds of random crap in there. The crew module is also loaded with stuff, ready to go. So this will take the crew there and bring them back if necessary. So it has all of the stuff we need to get to Minimus. Now, this is going to be interesting because I can't use RCS right now. It's decided to be broken. So I have to redock this crew thing without the benefit of RCS. So get these out of here. I'm not sending the Fab 4. Then the pilot and 2 engineers and the command pod. Okay, and that's all I need to do for this one. This one's a very basic system actually compared to the other ones. It's a standard rocket without reusability systems. It does not have extra. It does still have the RCS thrusters built in, and it still has some of the control systems built in, but it does not have the probe cores on it. That's all handled by the probe cores on the main part. So it's a little simpler. All right, so SAS enabled. Got our crew ready to go, and we take off. This is much, like I said, this is much more basic than the previous version. It will basically just go until it is out of the main stage, or first stage will go until it is out of fuel, and then it will ditch. That really simplifies this landing or this takeoff. Since I don't have to worry about staging, I'm not worried about damaging the probe core or anything like that at the top. It just kind of does its thing. All right, trajectories. I don't need to see you right now. I'll need you later. When I go to land this bad boy on... Am I saving Jeb and the Three Stooges for another part of this mission? Kind of, yeah. I want them to be the first ones to go to, like, Lathe and stuff like that. This is the not particularly glamorous mission that these guys get to go on. They're going to Minimus. For me, at least, I've assumed in this version, like, we've already landed on Minimus and other things like that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sending colonies there. Like, we've already set up, we've already been there at least once on manned missions or Kerbal missions, whatever. But yeah, this is a fuel station, so these guys don't get the the prestigious Kerbal knots for this mission. They get Jaffrey Olwyn and Billy Bobford. So I'm not really concerned about how high my apoapsis is, because I'm just burning as high as I can, because we're going to Minimus. So my second stage will circularize the orbit. And you just get to get ditched in the ocean. Or more like over there. If I do this right, we're going to actually... Yeah. So we'll circularize, or close to. On this apoapsis. There we go. And 190 kilometers. Sure, doesn't really matter. It's actually going to be good. It will save me some trouble on my inclination. Let's see. Or we're already out of the atmosphere. So I can ditch this. So we're going to circularize. And then... let's see. Is this that one? This got messed up again. I love when my staging gets messed up. I had this all set. So we get to stage the launch escape system. We don't need that anymore. I do not know anything about KOS scripting. I really do not. Like, I'm not a script kiddie. So I can't help you on that one. There are multiple KOS scripts that have been written to do exactly what you're talking about, which is boost back to the launch pad and land. Although you can't... I wouldn't try landing on the launch pad because the actual amount of stress the launch pad can take is really low. It kind of stinks, to be honest with you. It's not very good at all. Let's see. Extend solar panel. Extend solar panel. And where is my... There it is. This relay will also help work as a... this will stay in... This command module will stay in orbit and will actually help... keep communications open. Probably my next mission will be just launching some communication satellites to work around Minimus. That is something I should have done and completely spaced on. My phone is making beeps here. All right, so let's get up to the warp to the maneuver. We need a 28-second burn to circularize. So we're going to circularize. We're going to decouple the command module. We're going to turn it. Well, actually, we can set instead of circularizing. Yeah, you don't have the crater for a launch pad. If you try and land on the actual launch pad, it will break. It has very little. It has very little stress options. So I'm going to flip this once I circularize, and actually probably once I start my burn to. No, I can do it this way, but do this in orbit. Some debris. Oh, that's probably from the fairing. But yeah, so we'll flip this around and pray I can make it work. I've done this before without RCS, so it should be okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the next one is that. So cool. We're going to go ahead and stage the decoupling. I'm going to save just in case something goes stupid. And stage the decoupler. The decoupling force is low. It should not actually move it very far. So we're going to set that as target. And then we're going to control from here. And I'm just going to let it get a little bit away. And it should, yeah, oop, there we go. Since I don't have RCS, I'm going to turn the thrust down on this. I don't generally want to do that, but again, the game is broken, so I'm going to cheat because it's cheating me. What was that? All right. Oop. All right, we're going to 2 meters per second, 0.2 meters per second to the target. Please, Doc. Oh, nope. Didn't work. All right. in camera. No, that's you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to auto switch to the thing I want to actually go to. All right, control from here. Set as target. Point towards it. I'm going to do it from here instead. Thrust limiter to 0.5. All right, and then there we go. And hopefully they'll dock. New physics warp. This would be so much easier with RCS. Nope. All right. I'm going back to the load that save game. I was trying to do it the easy way, or the basic way, but I'm going to have them lock onto each other, which is what I should have done in the first place. All right. We will stage. Come on. Set as target. Control from here. Might be able to just get it to nudge into place. There we go. Judging by how the game, yep, awesome. So here's a fun thing we got to do. Well, we'll turn on SAS first. We're going to have to control from here to make sure it orients properly. Just for the sake of getting this right. Now, we're going to set a... maneuver node. Set a Minimus as target. And then about there. And I have a pilot on this one, so I don't have to worry about maintaining connection to the Space Center because I have a pilot. So, am I not getting any? Come on, give me an encounter. Why will you not give me an encounter? Closest approach. Have I played with failure mods where the parts break and you have to fix them? I have not. But yeah, it is because yeah, exactly. KSP already breaks on its own. I don't need to make it break more. But no, I have not played with any failure mods. I'm having a hell of a time getting a encounter here. Closest approach 19. That's way off. So I can make some adjustments here. the right encounter. I got plenty of delta V, 2,000 meters per second. I'm having a hell of a time. So I think I'm just going to get on a vector that will get me close, and then get into the roughly that orbit, and then I'll for a pad, make it with beams or girders. Honestly, your best bet for landing somewhere is just land on the runway. The runway has way more structural integrity, or just next to the runway. If you land somewhere inside the Kerbal Space Center, you get 100% value back for your recovery, or close to it, like 99%. So if you're actually going for that, like because there is no good place. There's not a landing pad that is suitable for landing anywhere on the KSC. It just doesn't exist. We're just gonna have to do a mid-course correction. Thankfully, I got plenty of delta V, so that's part of the reason I over-engineer everything so I can make mistakes. Build a boat with a winch. Yeah, I mean, if you want to build up, honestly, some of the boat mods, I think there's actually a remote barge mod that that is basically the SpaceX barge. It will probably work way better than anything anything you're going to build like that. I think it's reinforced basically to handle having something land on it, which is the biggest problem I've had with trying to land anywhere near the KSC. You just end up with I see where I'm having trouble getting a close encounter, because it's getting an issue with the MUN. I don't have that much delta V. Why can I not get an encounter? Yeah, Scott Manley is way better at this than any of us, pretty much. He's ridiculous. Hi, kitty. Come here. All right, I'm trying to land this dummy. You know, I'm just gonna go back to that load again, that save again, because I cannot get an encounter. I'll do a quick. Switch was the drone ship. Yeah. There's definitely some drone ship stuff, and actually, that it really, there's a reason that they do it, and actually makes a ton of sense. In real life too, since you're launching over an ocean, having a drone ship really makes a lot of sense. Come on, switch, please. Give me what I actually need. Control from here. There we go. Okay. We still want to be controlled from here. I'm going to give this thing a couple of more orbits. Just to give myself a chance to clear the Mun. I did not... I did not time this very well, so I've got the Mun is in the way of my encounter with Minimus. Which is less than ideal. Put that on the next orbit. It keeps insisting on encountering the Mun. I can't seem to get a... Oh! Nope, that's a Mun encounter. Damn! I just cannot seem to... I'm going to have to wait again. Let's see. This was a bit of a blunder. This is really annoying. You know what I can do though is go back to the tracking station and just go ahead and do some little time warping here. Let's see. Crew lander. All right, we're going to keep an eye on you. There we go. The Mun is nowhere in the way now. It cannot. So I could orbit the Mun and do a... I could slingshot off the Mun and stuff like that, but it makes the encounter really complicated. I've done gravity assists before, especially on going to Joule. A Tylo gravity assist to break in the Joule system really makes a huge difference, but any amount of delta V you need to actually like enter, like, say, orbit around Lathe. But yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to screw with it. I'm tired. I'm about to finish. I was trying to be done streaming by now, but I want to finish this. I want to finish this nonsense. So it still wants to encounter the Mun. Really? I can't get a single encounter with Minimus here? There we go. Whoa, there we go. All right, here we go. We're getting... Oh, there's a Mun encounter in here too. Wait, is that... That Mun encounter is on the return, so I'm not worried about that. Sure, we'll take it. We'll take it. I'm so annoyed at this point. I'm just whatever. Yeah, we'll get this. Will get us to Minimus. Periapsis is ridiculously far off, but we're gonna make a mid-course correction anyway. You'd landed on a runway and it blew it up. That's the problem. Like, none of the structures are strong enough to handle landing. Yeah, I could slingshot it. I've done the gravity assist before. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I'll do a gravity assist on one of my Joule missions to show that I can actually do it. Oh, crap. That engine is active. Stupid. May pump some fuel. I barely use any fuel. All right, so now we can. We're gonna catch Minimus on the return, which whatever, we'll take it. So we want to be ahead of it in this case, because I'd be going in the right direction. Yeah. Okay. Focus on. Oh yeah, I should probably focus on Minimus. That would actually. I need to make sure this way easier. Make some adjustments of our. That'll get us into an orbit. Periapsis. Oop, wrong way. All right, cool. Let's warp to maneuver. What is it suggesting? 1 second burn. Yeah, basically nothing. All right, so I'm actually going to turn the thrust limiter down so I get like a 2 or 3 second burn at least. Actually makes it way easier. Come on, do not crash on me, please. Ooh, I'm gonna do this. Are you gonna crash on me, Kerbal Space Center, the Kerbal Space Program? Haven't had a crash with you in a long time, but you may be doing me in. It could be this game. Oh, thank you. Awesome. You survived. Gee, it was just loading. Must have been the sphere of influence change. All right, make it a 4 second burn just for my own sanity more than anything else. Since once again I cannot use my RCS. Okay. Normally I would use the orbiters engines to. I am still off on this. I didn't warp. No, I don't want to warp there. Whatever. That works. What? No. What happened? I got screwed over again. Crap. Really? Game is just being extra buggy for me today. Okay, sure. This is what angle we're coming in at. Great. I'll just take it. Whatever I got to do. These sphere of influence changes are just. I've never had it go this far off. There's something going weird with orbits because like I already had the thing where it set my damn orbit like set the orbit of that one station like way off. So who knows? I'm going to use the this stage to actually circularize the orbit and probably adjust my inclination. I just want to get into orbit of Minimus at this point. I will take that. All right. Get ready for this. This is bizarre behavior. I've never had it go quite so far off. But again, stable version of it is great. But I did not stop it from updating, and I wish I had. But anyway, we're here. Do one, go. Come on, burn. There we go. So this wouldn't normally be in orbit at all. In fact, what I'm going to do is deorbit it. Retrograde. My periapsis into Minimus. Then I will decouple this. And then control from here. I'm going to go normal a little bit. And then prograde and get my orbit back up to something sensible. There we go. My periapsis is now... Yeah, this is like... It got a really badly inclined orbit, but whatever. We're going to be coming in over the... I'm going to save, just because I'm scared of what's going to happen. I'm going to transfer the crew to the tourist. What? They're not tourists. Okay. Jeffrey is a pilot. These two are engineers. See, you see what I work with here sometimes. I'm on the bleeding edge of doing mods and stuff like that, so that's probably my fault. No, it's not my fault. This should work. All right, so I guess we'll control from here. Nope. Stop. Nope. Undock. Just undock. Leave me alone. Just get the fuck out of here. All right. Turn on SAS. Extend solar panel. Extend my antenna. I can deal with the eccentric orbit of that. So we'll add a maneuver. Deorbit burn. And adjustment of inclination. How much delta V does that take? 67.8 meters per second of delta V to make the adjustment. I'm going to actually try and undershoot it a little bit, or overshoot it a little bit, because I'm actually going to turn into it. Yeah, I'm going to try and figure out what mod is breaking RCS. Stage that engine. 17 seconds. Awesome. Yeah, see, and it moved into... Alright, cool. Estimated burn of 16 seconds. Get down to 8. So this is again, Apollo style lander, but it is not an Apollo lander. This is not... First of all, it's a direct descent. It does not have a second stage, and in fact, this is designed to go back and forth between space and the ground. So, tether a crawler. Kerbal attachment system will let you attach things to the ground. I'm not sure what else will do that. I've never actually tried it. All right, so I'm gonna just radial. Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, there we go. Radial out. I might have to edit the save file to get this thing to do what I want. So I'm adjusting radial out, and I'm also going to go normal a little bit to land where I want. Do you do the burns half and half? Do you mean do I wait till it's halfway? If it's a 16-second burn, I will burn at 8 seconds to maneuver, if that's what you mean. I definitely do that. Yep, RCS doesn't work on this thing either. Something crashed. Or something exploded. I don't know what. It's not me, though. That's all I know. Honestly, don't care if anything else crashes. As long as I don't crash. Overshot the target a little bit, but that's okay. I think it's drastically underestimating my thrust to weight ratio. I'm not sure. Trajectories in flight, please. So I want to kind of land more or less in between these two, or close to it. I might have to do a little hop. Watch my suicide burn. quiet because I'm concentrating. Okay. Save. All right. Now, this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do the Kerbal attachment system because I'm not sure that I have. I think you might actually have to be engineers, and since they suddenly became tourists in the middle. Yeah, I can't EVA because they're tourists. Oh, it changed them to tourists. I can't EVA. They were not tourists when they left. They were engineers and a pilot. So I guess I'm done here. I was gonna have them go out. I'm gonna have to change their go in and edit their craft file or edit their thing and change their roles. Which I can do from the save game file, but man, that's really annoying. I don't know what happened there. Again, a mod got me. I may, until the game stabilizes, I'm not sending another ship. I just got this on the ground. I'm going to go fix the damn thing. It's not cheating if the game breaks on you. Also, this thing is it's jittering and jiggering all over the place. That low gravity nonsense. Turn this off. So I'm gonna go fix that, and I'm gonna be done for the night. But I guess on the next live stream, or maybe I'll just do a quick video of me connecting up the parts, because that's what I wanted to do, but I can't EVA. So thanks for watching, everybody. What a amazing disappointment that was, to go through all that nonsense and have it fail. I have never had this many singularly this many failures in one play session before. This is there were a couple failures that were based on me, but there's quite a few that were just I'll accept the ones that were my fault, but the RCS not working, all that other stuff, that's that killer. So I guess I'm done for now. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. And check it out next time. Don't forget to subscribe, or not subscribe, follow. I guess it's Twitch. I started on YouTube, so I don't remember. It's so follow me and watch again. I'll be doing this again next week, and there may be a little subsequent one where I just make these guys go out and actually attach their the components like I want them to. So I will see you guys later. Have a great night, and thanks for watching.